and then don't pay for those open positions, but once they're filled, prorate them. So instead of getting a year's worth of budget for that one job, what about the agency heads though? What if you're the head of a huge agency and you have 1,200 people underneath you? Do you have to go through and find out how much each person individually costs you to maintain, and then how do you
isn't
come up
the
with that
accountant
number?
doing that anyways? Who's writing?
See, I don't know if
who's writing the payroll. Whoever's writing the payroll can do it. I mean, you've got a person there to do it.
I'm not sure, but I don't think each agency has their own accountant. I think there's an accountant that is for.
Well, that makes it better then, because then the people who are giving out the money know who's getting what, and then know what positions aren't filled, and then that one individual, without having to hire or pay someone else that I would probably deem unnecessary, then we're fine. And then the person just cuts that off, keeps it, and then if they decide to get rid of the position, I mean, you could consider the necessity of it. If the department has been operating for, say, 2 years without that individual, allocate the money somewhere else, or consider lowering taxes, something. I mean, if you don't need the money, you don't need the money, and you shouldn't be taxing for it or using it. There's no reason. We shouldn't have just discretionary money being spent by a government. I don't agree with that at all.
One of the Democrats that is in the state level of the House, I believe, has said that he doesn't think that anybody's purposely doing that, and that the Republicans are just latching onto this, quote, paperwork issue and making it a political point. Do you think that they're making it a political point, or do you think they actually think that this is something that needs to stop? Or both?
Well, I assume that I think that it's probably a little political, but I can't imagine why both parties wouldn't be upset over this. I mean, especially in the middle of a very serious budget crisis, I don't know why both sides wouldn't be a little upset to learn this money has been here the whole time, but we didn't know we could use it.
Yep.
So I'm assuming, I mean, politics are in there. You got an election coming up. It's pretty far away, but you do have an election coming up. And I don't know enough about the Iowa government to know how political the bureaucracy of the state is.
Yeah.
Because these might just be, I mean, you always advocate for the department you run. So if you have some extra money, you might not want to mention it. You know, it's like, well, we can do something else. I mean, it makes complete sense from their perspective. And it's something that happens on a federal level all the time because every department is vying for their department to get bigger.
Right. See, I think it goes back to the first question I asked you, how do you police that? And I think you have to have faith in the people you've elected to understand what is and isn't right, but I don't know if you can. Like that, you would like to hope that you could think that the agency heads could know that they should not be doing this, but
I'm curious what they use it for.
Yeah, I mean, what do you? Are they just having like petty cash? Or I don't think you can do that, but are they? They're not. I hope, God forbid, that they're not like raising their salary. I mean, is it just sitting in a pool? Earmarks.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
That would make
an
entirely different story.
They could get some data in there. I mean, if it's just going towards maybe, for instance, if it was like the agricultural department or something like that, or something. I'm not sure what department. Well, I don't know the departments of the Iowa government, but I assume that's one of them. I know general ones, but
yeah.
I'm not sure. But say Human Services has it, and they can use that money then to help out more families or something like that, or provide more services.
Yeah.
Then I think it's okay, as long as it's not going towards salaries, or we can have the nicer pins and stuff like that. As long as it's not going towards luxury, I'm completely okay with it, because it's just making them more efficient, and they're able to do more with fewer people. And I think that's great.
See, I would agree with that, I guess, and I don't really have anything to add on top.
Why
of
would
that.
you?
I was going to make a point, but it's a moot point. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. So we can move on to our next topic. Okay. Right. Hold on a second. Sorry. A 12-year-old girl came to her science class in Des Moines, and she was kind of doing a show and tell, and she brought a shotgun shell to school to show her science teacher. Now, authorities say that the girl brought the shell to school last week, and it was a souvenir from a summer vacation to South Dakota. It was empty and had the word blank written on the front. Now, the girl said that, hold on, sorry. the principal said that the girl actually, although the girl said she just had this one, the principal says that she brought a bag of shell casings and shared them with other kids. Okay. So I have to go to...
You're just full of strange stories today.
It is. There were a lot of odd things going on. Now, should she have been suspended for bringing that?
I don't think so.
Because the casings are considered ammunition, and then ammunition, of course, you can't bring that to school. So that violates the weapons policy. So what do you think? You don't think she should be suspended?
I don't think so, no. Because, I mean, if it's clearly marked as empty and it was, clearly stated... I mean, it was obviously empty, and then it said blank on it.
What about a... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let me finish this part. And I don't think she should have been suspended. I do have a problem with the parents, though. First of all, what are you doing on vacation that a shotgun shell is a souvenir? That what? I think you got to blame the parents for this. They should have the wherewithal to call the school and say, hey, we're gonna, she wants to bring this in. We tried to say no, but, just so you know, she's gonna bring an empty shotgun shell and give them the reason. That way the school is aware of it, because I think what they did is they just reacted just on guts and just like,
so you think the school overreacted by far?
A little, but I honestly don't think I can blame them in this situation. I think,
well, especially I think, because I assume the principal is a good source. If she brought a bag of casings,
that's just,
and gave them out to other students, you can't have that. That can't be going on.
Yeah, it's a deeper issue than just the show and tell. I think you really need to dig into what's going on in this child's home life. If she's doing these things that are bringing these shotgun shells or something she's bringing for show and tell. I mean, what is this 12-year-old girl involved in outside of school?
I mean, I guess it fell under policy, so they were just following policy. But I don't really agree with a suspension.
Yeah, maybe for like the rest of the day, and then call and figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah, exactly. They should investigate this.
Yeah, but she should not be suspended for was it like a week or what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think I have any other questions.
All right, well then let's play a song, and we'll be back after this with our little Informavores pontification topic. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Informavores. This is Marcus alongside my co-host Alex here. And got a special treat for you today. We're going to start a new segment in our show called, this is a working title, but it's going to be our
definitely.
It's our pontification session. We're going to try every week to try to get either a big news.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're talking over me now. Anyway, we're going to try and get either a huge issue or a huge article, and just both of us have pretty much starkly different backgrounds, and we're going to try and find an issue that one of us is somewhat qualified to talk about or have, personal knowledge into, and we're going to, just bounce a couple questions off each other and just get a personal feel for who we are and how we think about things.
Yes, and I mean, it's about a very huge issue, so...
Yeah. So, I mean, it shouldn't be over anyone's head. It's going to be pretty much broad questions, but let's go ahead and get it started. Today's topic comes to us from an article on Politico that's called, What If Bush Had Done That? And it's basically addressing a lot of how the media and the general public are treating the Bush administration and Obama administration differently. Some examples are, I don't know if you guys remember, this was before the show had started, but he snubbed the Dalai Lama. It was right around the Chicago Olympics bid. The Dalai Lama was in Washington, D.C., and he wouldn't meet with him. He was too busy working on the Olympics. So he pretty much snubbed him. Another example.
I remember that.
Yeah, they were talking.
I thought that was surprising.
Yeah, it was weird. There's another example of him freezing out a network. The article says, which is obviously his rampage on Fox News. What else did he do? Here's the one that surprised me. He's been playing a lot more golf than President Bush.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the point I want to start with is the media is treating this differently. When Bush took a vacation to Crawford, Texas, it was front-page newspaper. But I didn't know he played any golf. I had not heard any of that. I mean, it was front-page story when Bush left the White House, but it's not when he does. Mm-hmm. So why don't you start, for those of you who don't know my co-host Alex, he's a journalism and what's your other major?
Political science.
Political science major, and you're still getting a minor in something?
Well, theater.
Theater, okay. Well, anyway, so this is his field. So let's start with some media questions here. What is the biggest difference between how the general media, that includes left organizations and right organizations, are treating the Obama administration as compared to the Bush administration? What's the biggest difference?
Well, it depends. I mean,